I've always admired people like Zach, someone who seems to have an effortless grasp of skills I could only dream of mastering. His talent shines so brightly that it makes me question my own abilities. No matter how hard I try, it feels like I'll never reach his level, and that thought has stuck with me, festering in the back of my mind. It's frustrating and disheartening, especially because the concept of self-improvement seems straightforward at first. But the more I dive into it, the more I realize how complex and chaotic it truly is. It's not a linear journey, it's messy, unpredictable, and often feels like tumbling down a tree, hitting every branch on the way down. Self-improvement is more than just a passing interest for me, it's a fundamental part of who I am. It's the value I think about the most, the one I hold closest to my heart. Multiple times a day, I find myself checking in with my progress, questioning whether I'm doing enough, whether I'm pushing myself hard enough. I constantly ask myself, what can I do to improve? How can I be better? While this drive to grow and evolve is powerful, it can also be incredibly draining. The desire to constantly improve can spiral out of control, leading to unrealistic expectations and an unhealthy mindset. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that if I'm not perfect, I'm a failure, and that belief can be devastating to my self-worth. I've struggled with imposter syndrome for what feels like forever. It's that gnawing feeling that I'm not good enough, that I don't deserve the recognition I get, and that sooner or later, everyone will figure out that I'm a fraud. Even when I achieve something significant, like mastering a challenging piano piece, I can't let myself feel proud. Instead, I downplay my accomplishments, convincing myself that they weren't that hard, or that someone else could have done it better. This self-critical mindset has kept me from truly appreciating my own progress. Rather than celebrating my growth, I've spent years caught in a cycle of self-doubt, always convinced that I should be doing more, achieving more, being more. It's a toxic way of thinking, and it took me a long time to recognize how much it was holding me back. At some point, I had to face the uncomfortable truth that my relentless drive to push myself wasn't coming from a place of passion or a genuine desire to improve. Instead, it was rooted in fear of becoming complacent, of not being good enough. This fear disguised itself as ambition, tricking me into thinking I was pushing myself for the right reasons. But in reality, I was just terrified of standing still, of being ordinary. It reminds me of that episode of SpongeBob where he verbally abuses his snail until it explodes. This is what happens to your brain when it's constantly bombarded with negativity and self-criticism. It's not sustainable, and it's certainly not healthy. Comparing myself to others only made things worse. Sure, there's something to be said for being inspired by people you look up to, but when you start measuring your worth against someone else's success, it's a slippery slope. I had to learn that I'm not going to be like Zach, and that's okay. Everyone has their own path, their own timeline, and it's important to focus on who I am, not who I'm not. It's a hard lesson to learn, but it's crucial for maintaining a healthy mindset. Constantly comparing yourself to others is a recipe for dissatisfaction, and it's something I've had to actively work on letting go. Another realization I had to come to terms with was the importance of understanding why I wanted to improve in the first place. Was it for myself, or was I just trying to meet the expectations of others? For years, I shaped my identity around what I thought others wanted from me. I remember when I was 9, I had a friend who said her favorite color was blue. I wanted her to like me, so I told her my favorite color was blue too, even though it wasn't true. For years, I kept this up, pretending to be someone I wasn't just to fit in. It wasn't until high school, during a full-blown identity crisis, that I realized how much of myself I had lost in the process. I wasn't being true to who I was just a reflection of what I thought others wanted to see. It was a painful realization, but an important one. Self-improvement should be about becoming the best version of yourself, not some version of what others expect you to be. But self-improvement isn't just about overcoming the negatives, it's also about recognizing and celebrating the positives. Success can be just as tricky to navigate as failure. Some people achieve something and then stop pushing themselves, becoming arrogant and complacent. It's a balancing act, being proud of your achievements without letting them define your self-worth. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that success equals value, but that's a dangerous mindset. Success or failure shouldn't dictate your behavior or how you see yourself. To keep myself grounded, I've sought advice from friends on how to stay humble and focused when success goes to your head. We all agreed that self-awareness is key. It's crucial to have a reality check now and then, especially when you're surrounded by people who only tell you what you want to hear. It's easy to lose perspective when you're riding high on success, but self-improvement is a journey, not a destination. It's about knowing what you want, staying humble, and continuously striving to be better without letting your achievements, or your failures, define you. With time and self-reflection, I've come to realize that self-improvement is one of the strongest tools you can use to become a well-rounded, balanced person. But it's not just about reaching the next level, it's about understanding yourself, staying true to who you are, and not getting lost in the pursuit of perfection. Thanks for sticking with me through this video. I've been experimenting with more concept-based content lately, and I'm really enjoying it. It's fun to talk about things that are important to me while still keeping it entertaining. Don't worry, I'm not turning this channel into a self-help lecture, I just want to be able to talk about anything. See you in the next video.